Hi, Howard Jones here. Welcome back to this fourth, last part of the Creating Snow Scene tutorial. If you would prefer to see the full-length version of this and other tutorials that I have available, then do please pop across to my website, address of which is on the screen right now. There you'll find this tutorial along with many others. And please, on this YouTube channel, subscribe if you've enjoyed these, and hit the like button. And if you want immediate notifications, of course, just hit that bell icon. Good luck with your painting, and hope to see you at the next tutorial.
Purple is a really, really important color in snow. It's because we use the warm colors to show the sunlight. And the best complementary for that, of course, for a rich yellow like that is a purple. So here we go. I don't want it too strong, and that might be a bit strong. So just in case it is, I'm going to do my usual trick of creating a big eraser. And that is my big chunk of paper. If I don't like what I've done, then that comes in to take it off. So why don't we try this on the shadowed side of the building here. Might pick up another brush. I'm painting around. I've got a figure down here at ground level, breaking up the shape. So I think I better deal with that. I'll take some of the paint upwards like that with an upward stroke to lighten it. And maybe even put a little bit of that warmth back in there. Use a bit of burnt sienna just to put a bit of warmth at the base of that wall. You get a reflection of the warmth going back up the wall. I think it's the right strength. It will dry out lighter, as we all know, that's what watercolor does. So then it travels across the road. And it will go up, and it actually can be seen in the photograph if you look. It then goes up the wall. The shadow goes up the wall on the opposite side of the road, approximately here somewhere. Painted over a couple of figures there, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I do need to take, I have picked up a small brush now because I'm going over all the rest of that wall down there. And with this paint that we've got here, I'm just going to manipulate some really soft suggestions of shadows in the distant buildings down there. Yeah, that seems to be okay, I think. Right, okay. I'm just making good my patterns, because that's what it is now. It's about patterns. On the dark side of these little features will be shadow. And now I'm going to, I don't think that's in full light, is it? So this section here. So if I'm careful to, when I get down to the porch, the entrance area, if I'm careful, I'm going to put a really weak, I've just picked up a lot of water. I'm going to put a much weaker shadow on this. Leave little pockets if you want of light. Again, to suggest bounced light coming from the ground, maybe. I think it's even that section there is slightly out of the light. So I'm sort of grading this shadow a little bit, I suppose. As you get closer to the illuminated side there, the brighter it looks. But I know what's going to, paint. We have to create lies sometimes to make it work, and that is to say, well, I'm going to put a shadow there to stop our viewer from going out of the painting. And that shadow, of course, could come from the building that we know is on the opposite side. There's a huge row of residential flats on that part of Westgate Street. So that could well be providing that shadow that we need there, just to close us off. Right, okay, am I happy with this? Take it a little bit further, a little bit softer. Yeah, what I'm going to do is, strangely enough, I'm going to put the shadows of the figures in across the snow, and it's going to be a rather broken, undulated shadow like this. Use the small brush as well. And I'm going to have shadows coming in from the right-hand side for all the banners and the posts that stand there advertising the rugby ground. Now, some of these shadows need some warmth in them because they're very close to us. So I'm just adding a little bit of burnt sienna in places. Let's go right across. Now I'm going to speed dry this because we have to soften areas. I feel happier if I put some of the figures in now before I complete the scene. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use ultramarine blue burnt sienna. Could use a little bit of cerulean blue. Quite a strong mix. Need these figures to be quite dark. So I put paint at the top shoulder area, okay, like that. But then this brush goes into the water and then lands well below the delivery of paint and use the dragging down technique just to sort of suggest the form, if you like. Often put elbows sticking out when in snowy conditions, as though people are just walking very carefully. A little bit more strength, I think, required in these figures here. So yeah, do with slightly darker leg on this character here, I think. Perhaps that one, just under the jacket there, we'll darken the leg, that part of the top of the leg under the jacket area, under the coat. Okay. I'm just going to put in here some footprints through the snow. Probably going to use the same purple shadow mix. Don't go too mad with this. You'll really spoil the painting if you give everybody their own little track mark. It's just a couple of these characters, near a couple of these closer characters that you want to suggest those sort of shapes in the snow. Bigger here, of course, But as you get closer, or further away, I should say, but closer to your figures, those little dents in the snow will appear smaller, you know. If they look a little too dark, just lift them off a little bit with tissue like I'm doing here. I don't think I can do much more on the on this, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to soften. There's a little bit of a hard transition between the yellow and the white. So I'm picking up the weakest area of that puddle that's on my palette, okay? And even adding more water to it, in fact. And I'm just going to sort of suggest some even weaker shadows running through the warm. And even just put a little bit of shadow back in there from something to close the painting off. And then this is something else I'll do. And I think I'm doing this, I'm needing to do this because of the surface of the paper. I don't think I'd be doing this, what I'm doing right now, if I was using a rougher surface. I'm having to create artificially a sort of rough texture look. It's these sort of things that make you decide what you should do and what you shouldn't do. What works, what doesn't work. Let me join, I just want to join, I think, a shadow along that baseline for some reason to keep that wall movement going from left to right. Yeah, anyway, let's get some white gouache out. Right, let's put the mount around it and see what we've got. I think it probably needs a couple more figures. Maybe one of those figures moving towards us. Tell you what, here's something I can show you. If you want to turn one of these figures around, as though, because at the moment they're all walking away from us, let's choose this chap here. I've taken a wet brush, jiffying up the paint here like this. Take a tissue and we'll lift that out like that. We'll then take some red. Let's take a bit of alizarin crimson and some burnt sienna, and we'll put this person's head there, but we'll also bring the color of their flesh down into the open shirt like that. You can again put a little bit of white into that mix if you want, just to make it look slightly more convincing. Just mix it in together till you get the red back again. About there, something like that. There we are. Hope there's been plenty in there for you to sort of consider and to practice. Hopefully some new tricks, things you might not necessarily have seen from me before.